do you wish you were laid off? Assume you have offers from all other FAANGs. Would you choose Microsoft all over again? Do you regret your decision now that it's been some time since you quit? That's because you got the FU money. How many jobs did you apply to?
I didn't apply for that many. I would say like 25.
25. And how many did you get a call back?
2.
You're not playing the politics, but you're navigating the politics.
Exactly.
So that's not taught in school. So.
And maybe you'll be so good at navigating the politics that you become the main politician in the politicking.
Hi everyone, welcome back to another video. In today's video, we have a returning guest, Pooja. Some of you may remember Pooja from a video that we did a while ago. It's been like, what, 6 months?
Yes.
8 months, where we talked about Pooja's journey and how she actually landed a remote software engineer job at Microsoft with 2.7 GPA. But as you may have seen from this title, Pooja quit her job.
I did. I am done with Microsoft.
Wow. That's the end of our era. So Pooja is currently visiting Seattle, and I was like, why not we sit down and we learn about who quit a dream job, like a remote software engineer job at Microsoft, at a company like Microsoft. So that's why Pooja is here today, and we're going to talk more about that.
Awesome. Sounds great. I'm excited.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Pooja, for being on my channel. So let's do a quick recap since we talked last time about 8 months ago. What has happened? Like, I know you have quit, obviously, but is there anything else that people should know about?
Yeah. So in the last 6 to 8 months, as Sindhas mentioned, we kind of chatted about my journey into Microsoft. But now I actually was at Microsoft for 3.5 years. And so I had decided that it had been a long time. I'd learned a lot and I kind of wanted to try something new and move on. And as maybe some of you know, I had my YouTube channel as well, a couple of side businesses going on. And so it got to a point where I was getting a little bit burnt out due to everything. And so I wanted to just do my own thing and see if that worked. So yeah, I quit my job. I thought about it for a while, but at the end of the day, I think you just have to take the plunge if you just want to try something new and take risks. So yeah, that's what I ended up doing.
Okay, that is very, very brave, because in the current economy and the job market, it takes a lot of guts to give up something that a lot of people are going after. But I think at some point, like, you have to make a decision that is best for you. And you made a decision based on all the work that you had ongoing for you. So obviously, like, one question that people would have is like, are you going to take a big pay cut by quitting this job? Or do you think you are able to like quickly compensate the missed pay with your other work?
Yeah, that's a really good question. So when I decided to quit, I kind of thought of it like a sabbatical versus like my content creation fulfilling the same amount of money that I was making at Microsoft. So yes, I'm taking a pretty big pay cut right now. But the hope is that I'll have more time to actually grow the channel and work on other platforms as well. Because I do want to move to Instagram and TikTok, and also I post more on LinkedIn as well. Right. So for now, it's a risk that I'm taking without a fallback, which is a little bit scary. But at the same time, I think it's also very exciting. And if not now, I don't think I'll do it in the future. So yeah, I'm going to try it out and see how it works and treat it as a sabbatical, because I've saved a lot of money as well. And so I want to treat this as a break. And see what
I love that you're doing this, because when I was at Amazon, after 5 years, you can take a sabbatical for like 3 months and you can go back. At Google, there is no such thing as sabbatical. So even though I've hit 5 years here, like, I cannot take a break. I can quit, but I could not take a sabbatical. Did Microsoft not have something like that? Like a sabbatical option?
We did have something similar. If you're in good standing after, I believe it was 2 or 3 years, you could take a sabbatical. So technically, I probably could have. But as Sindhas kind of alluded to, the economy and the tech industry isn't very good right now. So I think it would have been hard to get that approved. And then also, I think for me, I feel very challenged when I try something new every few years. So I think if I would have held on to the idea of, okay, I might go back to my job after 3 years, I might not have held myself accountable to actually grind on YouTube and kickstart my content creation even more. I think I would have maybe just relaxed for 3 months, knowing that I would have a job lined up afterward. So again, big risk. And I know it's, and I'm very grateful to be in this position to take, a year off and then see how everything goes. I know not a lot of people can do. I think it would have been detrimental for me to only take a few months off.
Yeah. That's how I feel about it. Because just you were hearing it first. Like I have been thinking, taking some time off, and I was thinking maybe like taking a couple of months off, but then I know that it's always going to be back of my mind that I have to go back. I'm not quitting my job. Not yet, at least.
Maybe I can convince them.
Maybe like Pooja will, in few months, she'll be like telling me like this is the best thing she did, even though like in the moment it felt scary.
For sure.
Honestly, like a lot of other people who have quit their jobs, they have talked to me one-on-one and they've like tried to do their best to convince me like it's actually not that bad out there. But it's also scary, especially with the family. And health insurance is so expensive and whatnot. But anyways, enough about me. Let me ask you, I know the answer to this. Do you regret your decision now that it's been some time since you quit? Or are there moments when you regret your decision?
So I think there's a lot of layers to that question. So there's a couple of things that I wanted to factor in when quitting my job. One was the financial aspect. So for context, I live in the Midwest and I own a house, so I have a mortgage. So for me, before I quit, the number one thing that was important was renting out my house. So I didn't have that mortgage.
Right.
So because that burden is gone financially, it's okay. Even though I'm still currently not making as much as I was at Microsoft, to me, that's okay. So financial wise, I've hit my goals. And so I don't regret quitting for that reason. Maybe the thing that I do miss sometimes is having more structure because, as you know, like content creation can be pretty lonely unless you're actively going and meeting with friends. Like, you know, me and Sundas are meeting now, and you're actively going and traveling and seeing people in person and going to events. Yeah. And so with having a 9-to-5 job, they typically keep you engaged and stimulated socially and are having those interactions day to day. There's more structure. Now I have to motivate myself to do all those things. Yeah. It was a little bit difficult at first and I didn't know how to navigate that sort of dynamic.
Yeah.
And I'm still learning. So do I regret quitting? No. I think it's the best thing that I've ever decided to do. And I feel so free and I have a lot of autonomy. But there are times where I do miss it sometimes. I won't lie.
Yeah, I mean, there are like goods and bad to like every decision, right? But at the end of the day, you have to decide if like the good of quitting outweighs the bad of quitting. And in your case, like it made a lot of sense. I'm really happy for you and we're all rooting for you and for your next chapter. It's going to be great. So I want to ask like people who are currently in either this dilemma where they're thinking about quitting their job. We're not promoting quitting your job. One thing should be very clear from this video is that Pooja has a safety net. Financially, she has like created her plan, a strategy that she's going to follow on. But there are a lot of people right now that are like either burned out or bored or in their current job because they've been doing it for some time or have been laid off multiple times and kind of like wanting to like start fresh and start cold turkey. And the first step includes quitting. What is your suggestion to those people? Like, how should they approach it?
Yeah. So to people that are already working and they're feeling burnt out.
Yeah.
That one's tough. I think it really depends on your situation. So for example, if you are kind of burnt out to the point where you can't even take a break, you just want to quit your job. I think understanding financially, if you're comfortable and you have a big enough safety net, that's number one.
Yeah.
Or at the worst case, you know, if you have family that you can stay with and you can't pay your bills if you do end up quitting, like just having a safety net so that you're not just falling in midair.
Yeah.
I think that's number one. If you don't want to quit or you can't quit and you can at least take a break, I would definitely talk to your manager and tell them, hey, I'm burnt out. I'm doing a lot of work and I can't keep up with this load right now.
Yeah.
But I want to bring my best self a little bit later. Can I take an extended period of time?
Yeah.
I think definitely managers will understand, especially if you've been at the company for a while.
Yeah.
I think it's harder if you're someone who has just joined, but there's definitely different avenues.
Right.
And just management with your manager, like they're your biggest advocate. So the last thing is if you can't take a sabbatical, you can't quit or you can't take any sort of extended leave of absence, then talk to your manager about, maybe offloading some of the work would help.
Yeah. I personally experienced burnout like back in 2023. And I didn't take extended time off, although looking back, I wish I had. But I did take like short breaks. Like I took vacation days and just went to another city, just got out of like my routine. That kind of helped. But going back to your point, like working with your manager and talking to them, I think is the ideal approach to like manage your burnout. one of the things that my mentor told me very early on is that like for your next opportunity, you should always be going to your next opportunity as like it's like a step upward. So I always try to like evaluate from that perspective.
On that note, as you know, I have a 9 to 5 job, but I also have a 5 to 9 job as a content creator. And honestly, it's one of the most rewarding things I do in my career. And if you ever thought about exploring content creation as a career or even as a side gig, then I have this perfect guide for you. Check out this Ultimate Creator Toolkit by HubSpot, who is also sponsoring this portion of the video. It's a solid starting point, especially if you are new. This guide is packed with resources to help you figure out what tools you actually need, how to use AI prompts to save hours of work, and connect your content to real revenue streams. My favorite section is the TikTok breakdown. Let me show you. For example, did you know that TikTok Ads Managers isn't just for launching ads? It's a full suite of resources to optimize your content from very beginning to the end. You can spot trending content, peek at the top performing ads, and even use TikTok's own AI tools to make your videos stand out. It's not just about the views, it's about turning attention into sign up, customers, viewers, and recurring income. You can download this ebook for free in the description below. Now let's go back to the video.
One of the videos that you recently posted is about the current state of the job market, which we all know is not great. So I wanted to hear your POV. You've also posted some videos about job searching. So like, given that you have firsthand experience, can you like maybe just verbalize what you have experienced? So like anybody else who has experienced that job search and the brutality, maybe they can relate to somebody.
Yeah, definitely. So before I quit my job at Microsoft, I wasn't quite sure if I wanted to start through that 1 year sabbatical or if I just wanted to transition into a different company and maybe out of big tech for a while. So I started applying for a bunch of different jobs, actually including big tech jobs. And I noticed that the market was extremely doable. Even for someone who had worked at Microsoft and who had 7 years of experience in the industry, I didn't think it would be that tough to get my application picked up. But a lot of times I just ended up getting rejection emails once I applied for a job.
How many jobs did you apply to?
I didn't apply for that many. I would say like 25.
25. And how many did you get a call back?
2. Yeah, not a lot. And it was only one of them actually. Actually, I only got one call back.
Wow.
Because the other job that I got was through a recruiter. So I guess that's the next thing. What I ended up doing, because I got so many rejections, was I actually reached out to my contacts.
Okay.
I've been keeping my contacts warm just in case.
Smart.
And so I had talked to a recruiter at another big tech company, and I had gone through final round interviews with them a few years ago. So I reached out to them again to see if I could go through the interview process. And so I set up an interview that way. And then with another company that I ended up getting an interview at, they rejected the first role that I actually applied for. And so I applied for another role. And during that time, I actually reached out to other friends that were working at that company. And I'm not sure if they did anything, but at least having those contacts made me confident that they could refer me and I would be able to get some sort of interview.
Right.
So to be honest, I don't think the application process really works at all unless you have a perfect resume.
Especially right now where everybody's literally applying left and right. And there's so many people in the job market. Okay, so you got one call back, one through your recruiter, through the relationship that you built. How many actual interviews?
So I had 2 interviews, basically, like multiple rounds per company, but I went through the whole interview process for the first company. For the second company, this was when I started contemplating what I wanted to do with my future. And I actually canceled that interview.
Wow.
Yeah, it was another big tech company too. And that's when I decided like I don't want to work at another big tech company for now, at least.
Yeah. That's because you got the FU money with the content creation.
Maybe, yeah.
I love it.
So I basically decided that wasn't for me. And yeah, so I just went through with one interview basically, all the way through to the final round.
Yeah.
I'm actually still waiting to hear back from them. I'm actually going to hear back in a couple of days. So, okay, I don't know if you want like a hack home edit where I can send it to you.
I won't post this video until we hear back on your end. So we can say out of 25 jobs, how many did you actually getting a job offer for?
Right, exactly.
But thank you for like painting a picture of how brutal the current job market is. And you have like years of experience, and I can't imagine how it is for like people who are just starting out. So yeah, it's not easy out there. So like any tips to stand out? I know you mentioned like one is like using your relationships that you've built in the past. Anything else that you would say?
Yeah, maybe this sounds controversial, but I think that's like the only way to get interviews right now. Maybe others have done it a different way, and maybe there's a lot I can learn by making my resume better for the ATS system. But even with friends that I know, that's pretty much the only way that they've gotten interviews. They've had to reach out to their contacts, and that doesn't mean you have to know someone that works at a specific company. Like everyone's a stranger until they become friends, so you can always just make friends, and I think that's really important. Like reach out to people on LinkedIn. And don't reach out to hiring managers or recruiters because they get so
many.
Yeah, just reach out to software engineers, and eventually, if you build a relationship with them, they'll connect you with right.
The next segment that we have is I don't know if we did it on the last video, but basically I do this segment where we do like rapid fire, fun, entertaining, controversial questions that you might feel uncomfortable with.
Oh, so we weren't already doing that?
No, okay. It's about to get hot in here. So the idea is that you have to like give your answer in a very fast paced.
Okay.
You don't have enough time to think or explain. Because if you start explaining, then you're going to justify your answer. And we don't want that, of course.
Yeah,
so,
no context.
Yeah, no context whatsoever. Oh, let me know when you're ready. We'll go. Okay. My first question is, do you wish you were laid off?
Maybe, yes.
That's a yes? We'll come back to it. Remote versus in office.
Remote.
Obvious. The top programming language you used at Microsoft.
C#.
The programming language you wish Microsoft had used.
Python.
So let's say if you were to go back in time, assume you have offers from all other FAANGs. Would you choose Microsoft all over again? That should give you an answer. Okay, let me ask it this way. What other FAANG would you pick?
Definitely Google.
I love that answer. Those were my questions.
Okay, perfect.
See, easy. That was easy. See, I got nervous. I was sneaking. Okay, let's go back to the first question. Do you wish you were laid off? So, like, tell us a little bit more. I mean, it's obvious to me, but like for people who it's not obvious to, like, give maybe a two sentence.
Yeah, sure. Okay, so for context, because I don't want to sound insensitive, I understand that in general, getting laid off was a really big deal for a lot of people. But in my specific situation, because I was planning on leaving anyways, it's a lot better strategically to get laid off because number one, you get severance. You probably get health benefits for a while. They were basically given a specific amount of time to still work at the company. Yeah. And so you have like preparation and you understand like, okay, this is my last day and I have this amount of time to find a new job.
Right.
So getting laid off strategically is just a much better move if you want to leave the company anyways.
Right.
Yeah. So that's kind of my reasoning. That's why I wanted to get laid off.
Yeah. No, that's fair. I'm sure a lot of people who want to quit probably feel the same way. So you are not alone. And when you quit your job, you basically give 2 weeks notice and that's it. You don't get more pay. Versus I know with like layoffs, people get severance. Like a lot of people at Google and other companies like got months of severance. So again, like not saying like it's the best case scenario. Yeah, because like layoff is like a horrible experience and nobody should go through that. My last question, and it's going to be a hot one. I guess like we're not done with the hot ones yet. So you came to my channel where we talked about your journey and how you started from 2.7 and then it took you a while to get attention of like all the companies. And then you were at Microsoft working as a software engineer. And when we did that last video, you were still at Microsoft. And I'm sure, because I'm also limited to how much I can say, I'm sure you were limited to how much you could say. So if you were to go back in time and like redo the tips and advice you gave to other people, whether those are like prospective software engineers or current software engineers in the industry or anybody else in the industry, like what are some unfiltered tips and tricks you would give?
Yeah, no, that's a good question. I think, so last time I kind of talked about the tech stack and just like the tech savviness. So what kinds of languages you need to know, like the cloud, all of that sort of thing. But I don't think I really talked about the bureaucracy that is kind of prevalent in big tech companies and just in companies in general. So understanding how to gain visibility with leadership, I think that's really important. How to also communicate with your manager and also be very persuasive and influence people. Those are traits that are really difficult to learn on the job. And it's something that you have to really actively practice.
Right.
Because the bar is that to be able to code. Like everyone at your job, you can assume knows how to code, that if they have those technical skills. And so beyond that, what can you do to convince people that you can lead a group or you can lead a project on your own? So that was probably a hard truth that I had to learn on my own and not something that was taught in school.
Yeah. The way I like to think about it is like you're not playing the politics, but you're navigating the politics.
Exactly.
So that's not taught in school. So
and maybe you'll be so good at navigating the politics that you become the main politician in the politicking.
Please don't become that. We don't need more of those.
Exactly.
Awesome. Well, Pooja, I know you're already a superstar on YouTube. Like, I don't know if you've seen her video. Like, her videos are just like top notch. I don't think I can ever match your skill set. I'm trying. I just fit and turn on camera, but you are like next level. So now that you have more time and more bandwidth, like what else are we going to see? Where else are we going to see you?
Yeah, so definitely still on YouTube. I'm going to be putting out a lot of documentary style videos, vlog style videos, tech tutorials. I'm going to experiment and have, a lot of stuff out there. And obviously I'm going to listen to the audience and see what they want. But I'm going to probably start posting on Instagram and TikTok and LinkedIn as well and see where that goes.
Yeah. Do you already post on LinkedIn?
I just started.
Okay. LinkedIn is the place to post. I learned that the hard way. I am very restricted on what I say on LinkedIn. But girl, you need to like get on it. I need to go blast out now that you don't have a big tech hanging over your head.
I know. I need to make money now.
Yeah, get those B2B partnerships. Awesome. Cool. Well, thank you so much, Pooja. This was so fun hanging out with you again. And I hope you enjoy the rest of your time in Seattle. And we'll probably see you all over social media, killing it, thriving, and living it up, and all the travels. And yeah, thank you so much.
Awesome. Much fun.
Yeah, likewise. All right. Have a beautiful day, and we'll see you in the next video. Bye.